until they wither. When he turns to thank the girl, he finds that she has vanished, leaving only a pile of petals. Mr. Villain returns to the tree several times, always with a packed lunch, but never sees the mysterious girl again. He resolves to visit the tree again when the flowers bloom next year. Meanwhile, the Pink Ranger, who dutifully fights the minions of evil each day, is growing tired of the full-body tights she's required to wear as a hero. Despite effortlessly defeating enemies, she secretly dreams of being a magical girl, wearing cute costumes and using more delicate powers. The idea makes her cringe, as she doubts she could ever pull off their charming aesthetic, but the desire lingers deep within her. Pink Ranger heads back to town, reporting to HQ that the recent skirmish with the enemy has ended. As she finishes her report, she notices a magical girl anime poster, reminding herself that she isn't suited to that world, no matter how much she secretly wishes otherwise. When she returns to the Ranger house, Pink starts frantically searching for her magical girl keychain wand, which she always keeps in her purse as a good luck charm. She can't find it anywhere and realizes it must have fallen out while shopping earlier. Meanwhile, Moji and Sora ask Blue if he's going to pick up Red, since Red is more directionless than a broken GPS. Blue has no patience to wait for Black, so he brushes past Pink, asking what she's up to. Annoyed, Pink gives a curt response, to which Blue comments on her wearing glasses, something he doesn't usually see. Pink internally freaks out, hoping he doesn't notice her magical girl obsession. Pink tries to shut down the conversation, but Blue continues teasing her about her lack of cuteness in retaliation. She snarks that Red is the cute one, leaving Blue stumped just as the twins kick him in the leg, telling both Rangers to stop bickering. As Pink leaves the house to search for her keychain, Blue's words echo in her mind, reinforcing her belief that she's not cute enough to be a magical girl. She retraces her steps through town, even asking a local stray cat for permission to check under its bench to no avail. With no luck, she finally heads to the local police station, hoping someone has turned in the keychain. Her face lights up when the officer hands it to her. Before she can thank him, the officer mentions the Good Samaritan, who found it might still be nearby, a tall man in a trench coat. Pink rushes out, determined to thank the person, and finds herself facing none other than Mr. Villain. Gently tapping him on the shoulder, she thanks him profusely for turning in her keychain. The general gives her a mysterious smile, advising her not to lose things she treasures. With a hint of playful charm, he calls her Miss Magical Girl before walking away, leaving Pink blushing. She's overwhelmed, as being called a magical girl has been her secret dream all along. As she walks home, clutching the keychain, she resolves never to lose it again. Her moment of reflection is cut short when Blue arrives, insisting on escorting her home. He warns her about walking alone so late, mentioning that everyone at the house was worried about her. Pink keeps the keychain firmly tucked in her pocket, not ready to share the day's emotions with anyone else. On his next day off, Mr. Villain heads to a panda-themed fair in the shopping district. He fondly recalls his first encounter with a panda, the creature that stole his heart. At the fair, he watches children excitedly interact with a panda mascot, and his own heart swells as he approaches, only to be coldly handed a panda prize card. Determined, he embarks on a quest to collect stamps from various shops, each one offering panda-themed goods. By the end of his shopping spree, he notices that all the items he's bought are food-based, from panda pastries to Chinese deli treats. Completing his stamp collection, Mr. Villain chooses a panda mug as his prize. He returns home, satisfied with his haul, and later enjoys a drink from the mug while reflecting on the day. Another day off rolls around, and Mr. Villain decides to clean his apartment, catching up on chores he's neglected. His efforts are rewarded when a new special panda video is uploaded by the zookeepers. Later, he heads to the park, happy that he left his laundry out to dry. He spots the same stray cat from before and sits on the bench beside it. Knowing humans love cats for their aloof charm, Mr. Villain muses about how valuable it would be to win the creatures over to his side. He tries to interact with the cat, but it ignores him, until he starts meowing in an attempt to communicate. Unbeknownst to him, Pink is nearby, watching from a hidden spot. She blushes, embarrassed by how cute Mr. Villain is when he's trying to charm a cat, despite being on patrol. On another day off, Mr. Villain stops at the supermarket and later relaxes in the park, sorting through his growing collection of panda photos. While there, he overhears a conversation between two people, Hai and Ya, discussing how Oriheim and Hikoboshi will fail to meet again for another year, a story he finds surprisingly relatable. He listens intently as Heike mentions how it always rains, preventing these two mysterious figures from meeting. Ya, on the other hand, remains hopeful, thinking that this year might be different, even though the forecast calls for rain on the 7th. Mr. Villain, trying to piece together the story, assumes that Oraheim and Hikoboshi must have some sort of yearly date that keeps getting ruined by the weather. He can't help but wonder why they don't simply pick another day to meet, questioning if this particular day is the only one available to them. Hiki then gives a hint as to why they can't, remarking that Oraheim and Hikoboshi spend all their time having fun and neglect their responsibilities, which reminds him of his own parents. This prompts Ya to ask about Hiki's living situation, and he reveals that he's moving in with his grandparents on the 7th, the same day as the rain and the anticipated meeting of Oraheim and Hikoboshi. As Mr. Villain processes this, Hiki's words about how Oraheim and Hikoboshi get what they deserve stick with him. Before leaving, Hiki hands Ya back her game console, but she insists he keeps it since she can use her brother's. Hiki declines, wishing that someday someone would buy one just for him. Ya promises to see him off on the 7th, despite the rain. As the boy leaves, Mr. Villain, still wondering who Oraheim and Hikoboshi are, strolls through the shopping district. It isn't until he stumbles upon a sign about the upcoming Tanabata festival that the pieces fall into place. Oraheim and Hikoboshi are characters from the Tanabata legend, two celestial lovers separated by the Milky Way, only allowed to meet once a year, on the 7th. A butcher shop owner, noticing him staring at the sign, gives him a piece of paper to write his wish for Tanabata. Confused at first, the shopkeeper explains that people write wishes and hang them on bamboo trees during the festival, giving examples like world peace. Initially, Mr. Villain thinks about wishing for humanity's downfall, but before he can write it down, the butcher hands him a croquette, fresh and crispy. As he takes a bite, he realizes how good it is, and his mood softens. Instead of a dark wish, he writes a more noble one, hoping that Hiki and Ya can have their meeting before the boy moves away with his grandparents. After hanging his wish, he supports the shop by buying 2 more croquettes, while contemplating his surprising act of kindness. Reflecting on his actions, Mr. Villain feels more like a hero than a villain. Meanwhile, back with the Rangers, Red is busy making his own wishes to hang on the bamboo tree. The twins find him and tease him for making too many wishes, noting that he still hasn't wished for something that would truly help him, a sense of direction. Red explains that Blue already made that wish for him, so he used his request to wish for things that could help everyone. Satisfied with his reasoning, the twins follow his example and make a wish for Blue to stop having his frequent stomach aches. Elsewhere, Mr. Villain finds himself on a beach during a particularly hot day. As he sits, a young girl joins him, quietly building a sandcastle beside him. Inspired by her, Mr. Villain starts building his own sand creation, mimicking her actions but in a more intense, aggressive way. When the girl notices him copying her, she flashes a creepy smile that makes him question who the real villain is. Despite the unsettling smile, they continue building their respective sandcastles in silence, acknowledging each other's work with a thumbs up. Their moment of triumph is short-lived, however, as the ocean waves crash in, destroying both their sandcastles in an instant. The girl taps Mr. Villain's shoulder and, with a smile full of optimism, tells him we'll build again. Moved by her resilience, Mr. Villain agrees, stating they'll build something even better next time. The story takes a sharp turn as Mr. Villain returns to his duties, this time in battle against the Rangers, alongside his colleague Trigger, a jealous subordinate from the Evil League. Trigger can't stand Mr. Villain and is constantly questioning why someone as seemingly unimpressive as him was given the rank of general. After the battle, Trigger follows Mr. Villain, hoping to find something to discredit him. As they walk, Mr. Villain suddenly stops, staring intently at something. Trigger, thinking he's spotted an enemy, gets ready for action, only to realize that Mr. Villain has spotted a food van selling panda crepes. Confused and disappointed, Trigger decides this is the moment he's been waiting for, to expose Mr. Villain's secret love for pandas and ruin his reputation among their evil peers. Mr. Villain decides to take a few pictures with Trigger, much to the latter's annoyance. Trigger, already frustrated, hands the crepe over in a huff, while Mr. Villain, not knowing where to start eating from, stares at the snack in a moment of hesitation. Trigger is utterly confused and, in his rising irritation, jokes that he's so triggered he's gone from anime to manga the general, completely unfazed, tells Trigger that in the future, on his days off, Trigger should avoid addressing or interacting with him altogether. Back at headquarters, Mr. Villain works at lightning speed to finish his tasks early, so he can catch a special documentary on pandas. However, a sudden work emergency causes him to stay late, and he ends up missing the show. Exhausted, he tries to sleep but finds himself restless, remembering the human technique of counting sheep to fall asleep. Substituting sheep for pandas, he hopes it will help him doze off, but the method proves ineffective. The next morning, he drags himself to work like a zombie. When his subordinate Rooney asks about his sleep issues, Mr. Villain explains the panda counting fiasco. Rooney laughs and explains that humans count sheep because sheep sounds like sleep, not because of the animal itself. Mr. Villain realizes his mistake, but as Rooney continues talking, the general dozes off, dreaming of being surrounded by pandas, pointing to a bright object in the sky and declaring it to be his home planet. In the midst of his daily battles, we see a heated clash between Mr. Villain and Red, the Ranger. They fight in a park, with Red impressing the villain with his agility. However, Mr. Villain quickly overpowers Red, preventing him from transforming. Just as the situation escalates, both sense something and pause. They spot a crying boy clutching a panda toy. Mr. Villain realizes they've accidentally fought their way into a zoo. Red approaches the boy, comforting him and finding out that he's lost his mother. Mr. Villain, trying to hide his love for pandas, glares at the boy's toy, which only makes the child more upset. Red reassures the kid, stating that he'll protect him because children are the future. Amused, Mr. Villain smirks, but his attention is drawn back to the panda. The zoo's intercom announces that there is a lost child, matching the boy's description, and Red promises to reunite him with his mother. Mr. Villain, in a rare moment of compassion, directs Red to the Lost Children's Center. As he changes into his casual day-off outfit, he declares that he's letting them go this time only because of his panda obsession, making it clear this leniency won't happen again. As Red walks away, clearly confused about where to go, Mr. Villain sighs and corrects his direction. Afterward, the general calls HQ, informing them that he couldn't complete the mission. They suggest he head home since it's nearly closing time, but Mr. Villain, seeing there's still time, decides to browse the gift shop. Inspired by the boy's toy, he heads to the stuffed animal section, trying to choose between a realistic panda plush and a caricatured version. He's surprised by how soft the caricature is and finds himself unable to put it down, ultimately buying both. When the shop attendant asks if they're for someone special, Mr. Villain, with no shame, bluntly admits they're for himself. At HQ the next day, Mr. Villain is exhausted again. Rooney suggests he go home, as the executive meeting had gone long. However, Rooney catches Mr. Villain's attention when he mentions discovering a new territory, the panda's habitat. With an evil laugh, Mr. Villain dramatically declares that he'll visit the area on his next day off. The following day, Mr. Villain heads to the specified location, eager for a panda-filled adventure. However, arriving too early, he passes time by taking pictures of a panda statue. Once the theme park opens, he enters, only to be confused by the complete absence of real pandas. His first impression is that the place doesn't look like a panda sanctuary, and he starts to suspect that Rooney might have done sloppy research. Still, he decides to investigate. Overhearing a young couple excitedly rushing toward the ticket booth for rides, Mr. Villain follows them, curious about what kind of place this is. He buys an adult pass and listens as a child excitedly talks about riding a horse, sparking hope that pandas might be hidden deeper inside. However, after riding a carousel and a few progressively turbulent rides, Mr. Villain starts to wonder if this place is more of a training ground than a panda sanctuary, as he has yet to see any pandas in sight. Feeling a bit dizzy, Mr. Villain takes a seat on a bench, hoping this isn't some sort of ranger training facility. He's soon joined by a random old man, who, noticing Mr. Villain's confusion, starts to share unsolicited wisdom about the park. The old man loves the area because it allows everyone to embrace their inner child, pointing out the joyful faces around them, from kids to adults, all escaping their everyday troubles. Mr. Villain turns to respond, but is surprised to find the man's grandson in his place. The child excitedly informs Mr. Villain that the park has pandas he loves to ride before running off with his grandfather, leaving Mr. Villain in silence. After that unexpected lecture, the general concludes that amusement parks aren't ranger training facilities after all, but regrets not asking the kid where to find the pandas. As he wanders through the park, he stumbles upon a souvenir shop filled with panda merchandise. He starts rummaging through the typical items until he finds panda toys in a capsule. Frustrated by humanity's obsession with cute toys, he decides he must save them and ends up buying them all. Once he's acquired the toys, Mr. Villain lines them up and takes pictures. But while enjoying various rides around the park, he still doesn't catch a glimpse of the actual pandas. Noticing his depressed demeanor, a staff member approaches him and, after listening to his woes, directs him to the panda ride. To his surprise, he learns that he can actually ride on pandas, and he excitedly jumps on one of the cars. The next day, he informs Rooney that the pandas at the park are just themed rides, not real animals, but he presents Rooney with a souvenir. They chat about the wonders not found on their home planet, sharing a moment of camaraderie. Another day off rolls around, and Mr. Villain decides to visit the zoo to observe pandas up close. Upon arriving, he greets a fellow observer and spots a Chad-looking panda mewing cutely, which annoyingly reminds him of Trigger. Upset that he was reminded of work during his day off, a personal violation of his creed, Mr. Villain can't help but think that the panda is low-key handsome. His attention shifts back to snapping pictures of the pandas as they do adorable things. The following workday, he sees Trigger and can't help but laugh at the thoughts of what his colleague would say if he were a panda. Trigger, growing increasingly irritated, demands to know what Mr. Villain finds so amusing. That night, Mr. Villain dreams about a panda wiping away its black marks. When he shares this dream with Rooney while they enjoy oranges, Rooney suggests it might be a manifestation of some trauma. In a surprising announcement, Mr. Villain reveals that the pandas from the zoo will be returned to their natural habitat, which leaves him emotionally devastated. His knees still ache from the drop of despair. Later, he and Rooney engage in a playful showdown to see who can create the best orange art, drawing the attention of their coworkers peeking through the office door. When they run out of oranges, Mr. Villain surprises Rooney by bringing out a box for them to continue their artistic endeavors. After a fun session, they eat their creations and brainstorm ways to teach their colleagues how to make orange art. As the gift-giving season approaches, the top admin at HQ asks Mr. Villain if he wants to participate in a present exchange that humans enjoy. He contemplates the meaning of gift-giving until bedtime when he dreams of Santa Claus, who explains how much joy it brings the giver to see the recipient's reaction. Later, Mr. Villain and Rooney engage in an intense gift exchange, both presenting each other with boxes of oranges. They return to the office to enjoy their fruity gifts, sharing them with their colleagues. Trigger eventually discovers the festivities and questions what's happening. Mr. Villain proudly gives him a milk-flavored treat as part of the celebration. Meanwhile, at Ranger HQ, Black surprises everyone with presents to enjoy on the festive day. Mr. Villain later experiences an internal dialogue with various versions of himself advocating for the salvation of different animals amidst their plans to destroy the world. The discussions take a wild turn when his villain persona argues for saving cats. Startled, he jolts awake, relieved that it was just a dream, and finds comfort in petting his panda toy. After a long day of work, Mr. Villain heads home and notices a stray cat he's been seeing near the convenience store. Impatient, he walks past the store's entrance and calls for the cat, but pauses when he spots Black feeding the feline. Black pets the cat as it eats and, upon noticing Mr. Villain, turns to greet him. The general steps back, locking eyes with Black, and they exchange greetings, with Black encouraging Mr. Villain to come closer. As they both watch the cat enjoy its meal, Mr. Villain internally comments on how cute it is, particularly captivated by its tail, which sways like it has a mind of its own. He wishes he could pet the cat, especially when it nestles against Black, making him reconsider his life choices. Black gently asks if the cat is still hungry but admits it's all the food he has for the day, continuing to pet the feline. Mr. Villain trembles, wondering how Black managed to gain the cat's trust so easily when he hasn't even been able to touch it. As their time with the cat winds down, Black bids it farewell. Just as he's about to leave, Mr. Villain asks him to wait. Black pauses, understanding Mr. Villain's expression, and offers him a cat treat, allowing him a chance to get closer to the stray. Mr. Villain finally figures out that to win over the stray cat, he must use its favorite food. After this, Black heads home to find the twins eagerly waiting for him. They welcome him back, playfully noting that they haven't seen him in a while since he usually sleeps when they're awake. He happily picks them up, but Sora kicks him when he jokingly comments on how heavy they've gotten. He puts them back to bed and watches them sleep, revealing that the cat reminds him of the twins, which is why he feels compelled to help it. His thoughts drift back to Mr. Villain, realizing that the intel about the villain frequenting the store is accurate. Finding Mr. Villain odd, Black simply assumes he has a fondness for cats. Meanwhile, at the mart, Mr. Villain quivers with excitement as he watches the cat eat the treat given to it by Black, expressing his gratitude to the Earthling. Later, Red has a dream about battling Mr. Villain in an intense fight, and the others discuss how strange he is. Upon waking, Red tries to go on patrol but is stopped by Blue. In the shopping district, the Setsubun event is in full swing, with families and children interacting with various stores. Mr. Villain finds himself intrigued by a special bean powder said to drive away devils. As he analyzes its composition, two old ladies interrupt him, offering him some mochi and warning that it's hot. Having seen it before, he knows it needs to be cooked before eating. When he takes his first bite, he's surprised by its stretchiness. Fighting to get a proper bite, Mr. Villain starts to speculate that the mochi could be a soft biological weapon disguised as food. He manages to snap a piece off and is amazed by how delicious it is. The old ladies notice his enjoyment and give him different flavors of mochi, each just as stretchy and delightful as the last. By the time he heads home, he acknowledges he's definitely overeaten. Back in his lair, Mr. Villain cracks open his laptop to get some work done from the comfort of his living room. He decides to take a break, grinning cheekily at his ice cream treat, waiting for the perfect occasion. Before indulging, he heads to his panda-themed items cupboard and picks out a mug to make a nice cup of coffee. After preparing his drink, he finally grabs the glistening ice cream and enters the living room to enjoy the hot and cold combination. Just as he opens the ice cream, an urgent alert interrupts him. He quickly sets the frozen treat down to tackle the pressing issue. However, more urgent matters keep popping up, making him increasingly agitated, and a dark aura begins to envelop him. After some intense problem-solving, things finally settle down. Mr. Villain remembers his ice cream and is sure it's melted by now. He examines the treat and sees that while the edges are melty, the rest is still solid. Picking up his spoon, he takes a bite, gasping in surprise before reverting to his casual state, commenting on how great it tastes. Apparently, he's eating it at the ideal time. As night falls, Mr. Villain finds himself facing a dilemma. A pot of cup noodles sits before him. He ate dinner early but finds himself hungry again before the day ends. He contemplates going to bed in this state but isn't tired yet, and it's too late for anything heavy. The instant noodles tempt him, and suddenly the two panda characters on the packaging come to life. One acts as an angel, warning him against eating at this hour, while the other plays the devil, insisting that midnight noodles are the tastiest thing in the universe. Being Mr. Villain, he succumbs to temptation and soon finds himself boiling water and pouring it into the cup, reflecting on how his will is too weak to wipe out humanity. When the noodles are ready, he carries the cup to the living room. After taking a first bite, he concedes that it tastes good. Realizing it's getting late, Mr. Villain also remembers he needs a shower but decides to skip it since he worked from home all day. Instead, he opts to organize his panda photos. However, his guilt seems to manifest through the stuffed panda sitting on the couch, seemingly urging him to get a shower. Quickly heading to the bathroom, he rinses off but, feeling lazy, decides to skip brushing his teeth and drying his hair, deeming it too much effort. A stern look from the panda prompts him to quickly return to the bathroom to brush his teeth. While sitting down, he remembers he has some frozen food that he can eat and puts it in the microwave. Just as he returns to blow dry his hair, the lights suddenly go out. The general springs into action, suspecting an enemy attack as the lights go out. He quickly transforms and dashes outside, ready to confront the foe, only to find no one around. After checking the vicinity, he returns inside and realizes the cause of the outage was a tripped fuse due to the high load of all his appliances. He promptly turns off the AC and TV, dries his hair without incident, and goes to bed satisfied, grateful for another day's achievements, largely thanks to his trusty panda. As the season of love arrives, Pink visits a heart-themed mall, hoping to find cute yet affordable gifts for her fellow Rangers and the staff at HQ. She starts by purchasing a selection box of chocolates and finds the smallest chocolate bar for Blue as a playful jab at their banter. Next, she searches for something for Red, wanting to get him a decent gift as the leader. Contemplating an edible map, she hesitates, fearing it might offend him due to his terrible sense of direction. Ultimately, she plays it safe and buys him a nice chocolate set. Continuing her shopping, Pink looks for a more mature gift for Black and stumbles upon a magical girl display. Unable to resist, she buys something from it, which reminds her of Mr. Villain, who once referred to her as a magical girl. Blushing at the memory, she wishes she could buy some chocolates for him too. Valentine's Day arrives, and Pink gives Blue his gift. He understands their relationship well enough not to complain, just hoping she hasn't been too stingy with Red and the others. Pink reassures him that she got proper gifts for everyone, and Blue finds the chocolate sweet as he heads upstairs. However, Halson demands his thanks. Later, White Day comes, where those who received gifts on Valentine's Day reciprocate. The Rangers head to the mall to buy gifts for Pink, splitting up to quickly find their desired items. Blue struggles, knowing Pink will be extra critical of his choice. He warns the twins not to let her know about his struggle, prompting them to excuse themselves in search of Red, suspecting he is lost again. Their suspicions are correct. Blue then has a flashback revealing his backstory. His father was a ranger who lost his life on the job, leading him to inherit his powers. After Pink joined the team, they didn't get along initially because she disliked the hero suits. They managed to tolerate each other for a couple of years until the twins, Sora and Mogi, joined, having inherited the Green Ranger's energy. During this time, Red and Pink continued their training until the twins went missing. Blue and Pink sprang into action to find them, during which Pink attempted to express her desire for friendship, but Blue refused, seeing her more as a younger sister. Their conversation is cut short when they sense a pulse of green energy. The twins, holding hands, transform into the Green Ranger, shocking Blue and Pink. The Green Ranger asks for their parents, leading Blue to inform them they are gone but promising that he and the staff will care for them. Pink joins in, promising they'll always be together as their older siblings. The twins feel comforted, knowing they won't be alone. After this heartwarming moment, Blue teases Pink for her little speech, and the two are treated to snacks by Black, who mentions that Sora and Mogi's energy is weak because they share one Ranger's energy. They must fuse to transform. Their talk then shifts to finding Red, which would complete the team. Soon after, they spot Red, who joins them. Blue's flashback ends with the twins and Pink waking him up because they need something from him at night. Meanwhile, Black roams the streets, reflecting on the duty of raising the next generation of Rangers, promising his predecessors that he will fulfill this responsibility well. As spring arrives, the cherry blossom tree blooms again and its spirit manifests. Another tree nearby takes the form of a boy, who becomes interested in Pink as he watches her gaze at park visitors. The boy blushes while observing her and is shocked when Mr. Villain approaches, bringing a packed bento for the cherry spirit, a promise he made the previous year. The other tree observes as the girl smiles while enjoying a triangular rice cake. The boy gets Mr. Villain's attention by throwing a branch and questions why he gets to talk with the cherry blossom spirit. Mr. Villain corrects him for throwing sticks at an adult, but the boy quickly hands him a mud triangle, thinking it's a shape the girl would like, given her reaction to the rice cakes. The boy watches from his vantage point as Mr. Villain hands over the mud triangle, and he returns to report that the girl was pleased with her gift. The boy beams, feeling happy that he made first contact, all thanks to a stranger. On his next day off, Mr. Villain strolls through the park and encounters the boy tree spirit, who is busy making more mud balls. He advises the boy to create something edible and wonders why he spends so much time outside, hoping he'll head home when he's done playing. To help them connect, Mr. Villain decides to set up a classic cup telephone since the two trees are far apart. The boy blushes when he hears the girl's voice for the first time. She informs him that the cherry blossoms will soon scatter, meaning she won't be around much longer. Gathering his courage, the boy admits he's been watching her. His creepy riz seems to work. Mr. Villain excuses himself, but when he returns to the park on his sacred day off, he discovers the boy tree has been uprooted. Devastated, the cherry blossom spirit vanishes, knowing she won't see him when she blooms next year. The boy regains consciousness, finding himself transformed into a bench closer to the cherry blossom tree, allowing him to interact with her more when she blooms again. One rainy day, Mr. Villain finds a robot cat, not from Earth, that refers to him as a human in its weakened state. Though his intuition tells him not to get involved, he returns to leave his umbrella for the cat to shelter it from the rain. Later, he encounters the robot cat again and decides to leave his umbrella, realizing it's supposed to rain. The cat has a flashback revealing its name, C018, and its abandonment by its creators because it failed to defeat any humans. Upon waking from the flashback, C018 sees Mr. Villain charging it with a power bank. Trying to prove its worth, the cat attacks him, but Mr. Villain responds by bringing it food. Despite acting aloof, the cat allows him to pet it as it rests. Mr. Villain recalls Rooney advising him to bring in any suspicious objects, as other species are looking to invade Earth and develop weapons. As he builds rapport with C018, he decides to bring it to HQ, but he feels guilty when Rooney and the scientists take it for experimentation. Later, Mr. Villain is called to the lab, where the cat is fine but a bit hostile towards Rooney. The pencil pusher informs him that they serviced the robot and found it's not a threat. He suggests Mr. Villain keep an eye on the cat by having it live with him, shocking the general. Mr. Villain immediately starts preparing to accommodate his new pet, while the cat demands Rooney deactivate it and put it in storage. Interrupting, Mr. Villain asks the robot to pick its preferred bed, and the cat reluctantly allows him to choose. Mr. Villain opts for a panda-themed bed, and when it arrives, the robot admits it was hesitant to come but finds the bed comfortable. As the cherry blossom season arrives again, the tree doesn't bloom, leaving the bench spirit upset. Mr. Villain cheers him up with triangle rice cakes, later noticing a single bud swelling from the tree's branches, instilling confidence that it will bloom next time. During his next visit, he brings enough rice cakes for both the spirit and the pink-haired girl, hinting at his belief in their love. That night, the flowers bloom, and the girl with pink hair appears as the boy confesses his love. Mr. Villain visits the park to enjoy the blossoms, finding it amusing that both spirits use him as a messenger to pass compliments to one another. They eventually stop their indirect communication and officially confess their love for each other. On another day off, Mr. Villain heads to the shopping district, where he keeps dodging Red Ranger, who keeps popping up despite being enemies. Mr. Villain's frustration grows until Red approaches him, gifting him panda chocolates as thanks for previously offering an umbrella during the rain and helping with directions. Mr. Villain appreciates the thoughtful gift, especially because it's panda-themed. Later at the Ranger house, Pink walks in to find Blue and the twins napping together. She encourages Red to join them for a picture to send to Black, who enjoys capturing moments like these. Black wakes up to the message and sets it as his screensaver before getting alerted to face a threat. The Rangers have a fierce showdown with the Evil League, resulting in an intense clash. The following day, Mr. Villain wakes up on his day off, prioritizing relaxation and choosing to ignore all the Rangers as he strolls through the city, determined to enjoy his precious time without work.